Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. What if Naruto was neglected and rises to Phoenix Harem God movie? Another day in miserable paradise, I thought to myself as I pull on my clothes. I decided to skip the fancy ninja clothes mother bothered to buy for me when I went shopping with her and the twins. She felt embarrassed about me when the store owner didn't see anything for me as I looked like I was supposed to be entering the academy soon. She bought the first fancy looking outfit that was my size and I stuffed it into the back of closet the second I got home, left in there to collect dust. I breathed in the air deeply, practically heaving half of my body out my enormous window. I had a nice view of the village. I was bracing myself for the physically, mentally, and emotionally tiring day it would probably be today. It always was. I could already hear the annoying squeals of laughter from the two boys, twins, who didn't appreciate what they stole from me 7 years ago. They stole my parents. Junsei and Shinzo, the prodigal sons of legend, are saviors from the terror of the Nine Tails, and blah, blah, blah. Honestly, I could have cared less. They're just a pair of spoilt rotten brats with bright tomato-colored hair. I headed downstairs quickly to make breakfast. A year or so ago mother and father made me do breakfast every morning. They used the wanting our son to have more responsibility excuse. I don't know why they bothered since all three of us knew they just wanted to be lazy in the mornings. Finishing up some eggs and bacon, I made the twins' favorite teddy bear-shaped waffles. It was their damn birthday today and I can already see the 35 different families coming up to greet them and boost up their already oversized egos that have been developing, them and our parents both. To be honest, I haven't really thought of my parents as my parents in a long while. On second thought, I haven't thought of my family as my family in a long while. The only family I really have is the family I made in the academy and Ichiraku's. The squeals from upstairs started, it almost surprised me. But I hear their annoying, high-pitched squeals every other hour of the day, so I'm used to it. Pretend airplane noises ringed through the upper hallways, down the stairs, and into the dining room. I almost pretended to smile in greeting before I changed my mind and grabbed a bowl for my cereal. They wouldn't have noticed me anyway. I thought. I should probably eat with my family for this very special morning. It was, after all, Junsei and Shinzo's birthday today. And what do I get for my birthday? A $5 bill. Let's pretend they have Canadian money, okay. And a free bowl of ramen at Ichiraku's. And that free bowl was not bought by my father. It was given to me by Tucci-san. I kept quiet as my mother came in with Shinzo in her arms, the little brat giggling to no end. Mother dropped him on his high chair just as father came in with Junsei on his shoulders. Presenting one of the most precious boys created in this fine village, one half of the saviors who sealed the Nine Tails. Father's voice was thunderous, honestly boisterous and excited for his boy's birthday. What I wouldn't give to be treated like that by him. I thought, enviously staring at Junsei's spot on father's shoulders. I'd always wanted a ride on his shoulders like I've seen a bunch of boys and girls have in the streets of Konoha. Kushina and Shinzo started drumrolling while I pour some milk into my bowl of cereal. Introducing Namikaze Junsei. Minato came into the dining room, cheering with Junsei. I looked at my father and I frowned just a little bit. I was the carbon copy of Minato and I hated it. It sucked whenever someone, thinking that they're complimenting me, told me I looked just like him. Probably the reason why I hate it is because my parents hate me, and the feeling was pretty freaking mutual. Well, it might not be hate per se. I mean they still allow me to live here. I thought. They just don't love me. Cake. Cake. The two brats started chanting, one after the other. Both twins were thumped their chubby little fists against the tray table on their high chairs and I almost groaned at the annoying sounds. Maybe sitting here was a bad idea. I knew I should have just packed some breakfast along with lunch and ate at Ichiraku's. There at least I'm welcome. No, sons. The cake come later at the big party we're throwing. Kushina silenced them. But we can get Naruto to make some extra waffles, right boy? At the words, right boy, Minato looked at me with a commanding tone, his eyes challenging me to defy him. I almost rolled my eyes and protested, but I knew that it would be futile today. So I stuffed the rest of my cereal in my mouth and down my gullet as I went to make an extra batch of waffles for the twins. I washed the dishes before I went upstairs, not a single word shared to my parents. You know, I don't think they've heard my voice in the last couple of months. I thought to myself, pondering whether or not that was true. I never really talk while I'm at the house. I'm usually out all day, only coming back an hour or two after sunset. But of course the parents didn't care. just as long as I didn't wake the boys up or disturb them or anything when I did come back home. Whatever. I headed out without even a single word, or look, of acknowledgement from my so-called family. And it's so stupid that after all these years I still get a little disappointed over it. Walking into class and seeing a familiar patch of dark hair, I felt instantly at ease and more positive about the day already. We teased the heck out of each other and we're the biggest rivals, but he was also my best friend and a true brother. Rivalries and friendships go hand in hand after all. He was Sasuke Uchiha. After his older brother murdered his entire clan, we almost drifted apart. Our friendship, which we formed a year or two before the massacre in a playground, where we fought and befriended afterwards, was as strong and close as it was now, and we almost lost it. But with his sudden loneliness that came after the massacre and the month and a half of avoiding any all-human contact, we sort of gravitated towards each other after a little while. It was hard for him to believe that I felt lonely and orphan-like living with the most family-like family in Konhagakure. Well, to the public anyway. They like to keep appearances, and in public I'm their beloved firstborn. Bull. But I got through to Sasuke after explaining a few things about my home life. Now we're closer than ever. Even if we do annoy the hell out of each other. Sup Teme, I greeted, setting into the seat next to him. The sky, Dobie. No need to be a smart ass over it. And I'm not a Dobie, you know that. I protested. And it's hilarious when you freak out over it, you know that. His smug little smirk was ugly as bullpoop, and I hated that all girls fell at his feet for it. Stupid Uchiha. Whatever Teme. Dobie, Teme. Dobie. Teme. Naruto, Sasuke, up to your usual troublesome banter, I see. I turned to see Shikamaru, one of my friends, standing next to Kiba, my other friend. We all became friends when we were little, around the same time as Sasuke and I met. Sasuke was happier then, seeing as his brother wasn't as much as a psycho, and we all had fun doing random little kid stuff. We mostly played amateur pranks on each other and unsuspecting civilians. We were known as the little spawns of the devil. We were so mean to adults. Nowadays I'm the only one doing pranks, though the guys help me sometimes on a really good day. I do more intricate pranks now on civilians and chunins. As a fighting genius I never get caught, unless I want to be. Most of the time I do let them catch me so I can get some form of acknowledgement from my father when they take me up to the Hokage Tower for punishment. Otherwise, the old man wouldn't give me the time of day, unless it's to order me around or something. Shikamaru. Where have you been? I get up and give him a little chest bump back pat greeting. I'm a girl, okay. I don't really know how guys greet each other because how I hug is like I haven't seen them in a while. I'm not a guy and I don't have any brothers, so I wouldn't know. You saw me yesterday. I ignored his flat tone as I greeted Kiba. Geez, no matter how old we get, you guys will never stop arguing like this, huh? Kiba asked me. Probably not. I laughed. Akamaru yipped in Kiba's hoodie as I scratched the back of his ear. Akamaru's eyes seemed to be asking me whether I brought him a treat or not. Please. His stupid puppy dog eyes get me every time. I come prepared though because I knew this would happen, and I dug one out from my pocket and give it to him. You spoil him too much. Kiba commented. You don't spoil him enough. I countered. Akamaru seemed to agree with my statement as he nudges Kiba's cheek with his canines. Will you guys not argue today? At least, not as loudly as you usually do. I want to catch up on my sleep, Shikamaru muttered, walking around our desks. It's the Tomi's fault. He knows I can be the top of the class if I wanted to. Not really, just the PE stuff and anything to do with fighting. Kiba interjected. He was swiftly ignored by all. And he insists on calling me Adobe. I pout and sat on Sasuke's desk, facing him and pointing my finger in his face, which he ignores in favor of looking out the window like the emo he is. Yeah, Mr. Genius, we know. You decided to curse us with your presence longer than necessary by staying here instead of graduating and becoming a chunin or junin or whatever. Shikamaru lazily joked, waving his hand in the air, as he sat himself down in his usual seat behind and above me while Kiba took the seat next to mine. Kiba laughed at Shikamaru's joke while I looked offended. Ouch. I exclaimed. Truth is, the reason why I haven't already graduated is because father ignores me so much that he can't even listen long enough for his own firstborn son to tell him that he was a fighting genius and that his son doesn't need to be in the academy anymore. Whatever, at least I can hang out with my friends more. Even if it does hurt every time he deliberately avoids me, flat out ignores me, and still expect me to be the perfect son, which is probably just a free slave to him. But I ignore that little stabbing pain in my chest as I see my friends start laughing at Shikamaru's joke, and I couldn't help but join in when I saw Teme crack a little and start to chuckle under his breath. It's not like they knew what I was going through, I only told Sasuke. Goal. I don't really remember what they said, but I think it was this. If not, please tell me. The outburst was enough to rattle me and Kiba. While Shikamaru and Sasuke could care less, Kiba and I looked over to see what the hubbubs about Sakura and Ino was at it again. They've been at each other's throats since we were kids. I never understood why. They were such good friends before their falling out. Oh well. Kiba went back to playing around with Akamaru, but my eyes lingered just a little longer on Sakura. She was my current crush, ever since I saw her with that cute little bow when she first entered the academy. Of course, she wasn't my first crush. I've been in contact with the children of other adults from different clans since birth. I think the clan heads and all would like to have some sort of connection to the highest position in Konoha. The quickest connection would be through the children. Now it's mostly the twins, thank goodness. It was tiresome. The point is, I've had crushes before Sakura-chan. But the other girl that I really liked didn't seem to like me very much. She was really quiet whenever I came around. I liked Sakura's long pink hair and her jade green eyes. She's always had a major crush on Sasuke though, like most girls in class. Not that I mind all that much, it's like this with most of the girls Sasuke's ever met. I don't really get that, he's just so emo. But whatever, I guess girls like the dark, brooding, mysterious types. Sasuke got like that after, well, you know what. Sakura's eyes scanned the room until it rested in my direction. She suddenly had a bright smile on her face and rushed towards my direction. At once, the emotional and dense side of me was ecstatic over the possibility that she might have been excited to see me. Yada. But with that came the logical side of me, shocking, it exists. And it was saying that it was only logical that Sakura would come to talk to Sasuke. She was, after all, completely in love with my best friend, who was sitting right in front of me. Sigh, the life of me. Hello Sasuke-kun? See? Why yeah. Hi Naruto-kun, EHH? I cried, my eyes widening. Doh, man. I screamed in my head as I saw her flinch with a little surprised expression on her face. Hurry and save yourself. Save yourself. I mean, hi Sakura-chan. Anything I can help you with? I practically yelled. She stepped back a little, her eyes a little alarmed. Great. You've done it now Namikaze. I screamed at myself in my head, mentally killing myself. Why do I always have to act like such an idiot? Actually, I was going to ask whether Sasuke-kun would want to sit with us at lunch today. Sakura's eyes flickered from me to my best friend. I pretty much gave up on life as I slipped from Sasuke's desk and slumped in my chair. You could pretty much see my soul fly up from my mouth. Kiba guffawed at my mess up, like the sucky best friend he was. Shut up Kiba. I groaned, deflating. Shikamaru looks at us, seeing me mourning the loss of my heart, life, soul, dignity. You take your pick. Just give it up Naruto. You've tried for a long time but Sakura isn't going to go out with you. Geez, your depressing tendencies after she shoots you down, or after you shoot yourself down, is troublesome. I could hear the little smirk he must be carrying at the corner of his mouth. You suck Shikamaru, you shut up too. I grunted. Shikamaru was just about my height of genius, in the smart side of the coin. I was the fighting genius, not the tactical strategy genius. Thing is, he's too lazy to try. But he does excel, even if he does sleep 70% of the time. I'm willing to bet he and Sasuke were neck and neck for being Rookie of the Year in our class. I needed to maintain an image, so I did my best to stay in third runner-up, just behind those two. Shikamaru was about to catch another cat nap until Kiba decided to sit on his desk and bother him. I looked around the class and watched how everyone interacted with one another. I see Sakura dejectedly return to her little circle of friends, fangirls, which included Ino, even though they don't see eye to eye on much. I saw her, and the rest of her friends, disappointed expressions, and deduced that Sasuke refused her invitation. I knew he would. He's not very fond of the fan club he got. I noticed people would give me a few smiles and waves. I gave a few of them a smile back, even though I didn't really know any of them. Being the Yondaime Hokage's son sort of makes sure that you're bound to have a few people wanting to be your friend just for the status or power. It left me almost friendless. I'm glad I met my 3 amigos. Otherwise, I'd be stuck in a completely plastic world filled with plastic friends, a plastic family, and a plastic smile. My smile is real. I looked back to see Shikamaru, Kiba, and Sasuke laughing at something Kiba did. Though the Teme was mostly smirking and chuckling than outright laughing. I smiled, enjoying the moment. I smile, because of my friends. I join them, laughing at their random jokes. Arigato. We all leant in eagerly, except for the cool guys, aka Sasuke, Shikamaru, Shino. Clones. There was a collective groan around the room. I could hear murmurs of, busted, and, I'm so dead, around me, but I smirked. This one time when I was smaller, the twins were only born just a year before, and mother brought all three of us to father's office. I'm pretty sure she brought me because I was too small to leave behind. She was ignorant but not cruel. I sneaked off to the private library father had with my already super ninja skills, and I snooped through all the scrolls one could find. I found this really big one that looked important, and I found the super awesome Kage Bunshin. I copied everything as fast as I could with some spare scroll I found and wrote with some pencil I found lying around. Then later on at night, I slipped out into the yard through my bedroom window and into the part of the training grounds just out of the sight of my parents' bedroom window. I practiced for a couple of hours and I finally got it. Training every night, I mastered the shadow clone jutsu. Ehehehe, I chuckled maniacally, rubbing my hands together in anticipation. You know, you look really creepy doing that. You sound really creepy too. Kiba remarked with his eyes squinting and twitching ever so slightly. Whatever do you mean? My voice switched into a lilting creepy, haunting drawl as I leaned closer to Kiba. My fingers drumming against each other close to my face. Kiba leaned away to maintain some distance, beads of sweat rolling down from his temple. And Naruto. We'll be calling people's names one by one. When you hear your name you will be examined in the next room. Everyone got it? Iruka asked, gaining all our attention back. Hi. The majority of the class answered. Iruka smiled and read off the first name, which was neither mine nor any one of my friends' names, so I paid no mind to it. Hi sensei, I cackled, still facing Kiba, and leaned further to mess with him a little more. I was about to lean away and laugh at his face, but I felt someone push me further and had me and Kiba tumbling down our bench to the unforgiving floor. I yelped, and when I landed on Kiba I felt something on my. Good lord no, I jumped up and spat out a bunch of white fur and dog slime. Ew. 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 I cried, jumped from one foot to another as I brushed at my tongue frantically with my hands. Ew. Akamaru, no. Tongue and all, my first kiss was with a dog. There was a brief pregnant silence before the class erupted with guffaws. My face burned as I sputtered. I love that word. That teme. As things settled though, my sensitive hearing could pick up a faint tinkling laughter. I would look for the girl that owns that giggle, even though I already knew who she was. But right now, I'll settle with killing the teme. YYUUPPPPPP. This is a line that signifies the changing of a scene because I noticed that it doesn't make the little patterns I create on the screen when I did this before, so now you can go on with the story in ease. One thing I must not have explained yet. I am a genius. And no, I'm not just patting myself on the back here. I really am a genius. I've already mastered whatever it is that the academy is supposed to teach us. I've tried to tell my parents, but they kinda suck. They never take notice of me, and when they do it's to order me around or something. So I sucked it up and dealt with it. It's fine by me if I waste a couple of years in the academy, at least I can make a few friends along the way. The way to what, exactly? To being Hokage, of course. My old man may be a sucky father, but even I have to say that he's a good Yondaime Hokage. But I want to be even better than him. I want to surpass him. I want to finally show him that I'm worthy of the Namikaze name. That he can look at me one day and finally say that he loves me too. I mean, you know, maybe if. But then again, what the? Namikaze Naruto. Iruka-sensei's voice brought me out of my musings. What? It's my turn already. I looked up from my place on the desk. Yeah. Weirdo, I already went, a million years ago. Kiba turned to me, laughing at my astonished face. Idiot. He laughed at me. I must have fallen asleep or lost track of time while thinking. Namikaze Naruto. Iruka yelled. Oops, lost in thought again. Haha. Get up there, baka. Stop daydreaming already. Kiba punched my shoulder as he got up so I had room to get out. Shut up, Kiba. I grunted, punching him back with a small grin. Good luck. Kiba wished. Thanks, I answered. I don't need it. I soliloquized. See that big word? Genius. You can't see it, but I'm pointing to myself right now. I could feel a few eyes on me, but most kids were just conversing to themselves or preparing for their turn. I walked with complete and utter confidence because, seriously, I don't need to walk with anything else. I'm gonna pass this with ultimate flying colors. Believe it. I was about to try and fool you guys into thinking that I didn't pass, but who am I kidding? Of course I passed. I passed so good I wondered why I didn't do this sooner. Oh right. Dad, you see, unless you're an orphan, you need a guardian's signature on the slip. So I need my father to sign a paper or two saying that I can graduate early and advance to whatever level is necessary, which is decided by the Hokage. Ha, ha, ha. That's some kind of irony there. I don't know whether that's really how it works, but my story so my rules, right? You could probably tell how that conversation went with my dad. He just stared at me with this barely hidden incredulity, like he didn't believe with at least a sliver of his brain that I could actually advance to a higher level at this point in time. He didn't believe his own firstborn. I'm not saying that whatever order you come in as siblings determine the order of how much a parent loves you. I'm not saying that at all. But being the firstborn son has to stand for something, doesn't it? Whatever he was probably just couldn't believe I could do this at this age. Even if though I heard he was a prodigy too. It runs in the family, whether he likes it or not. I rolled my eyes and leaned into the window to look out into the middle distance. Apparently, not. I sighed and crossed my arms, leaning my side against the window as I looked out into the sky. At least, I would like to think he just didn't believe me in some way. A little disbelief or uncertainty will be fine or something along those lines. It helped keep the other, more negative, thoughts at bay, at least for a little while. Stop thinking so much, Dobie, it'll overload the peanut you call a brain. I felt the back of my head being slapped. I yelped and rubbed my head to alleviate the pain. Like you're any better, you have no room to talk Teme. I grumbled as I sent him a weak little flare, which he ignored in favor of looking out the window to stare at the blank air behind it. I did crack a grin though. Sasuke was trying to cheer me up in his own Teme way. Whatever, just stop that. You wanted to be Hokage. Now you're one step closer. So just start acting like an idiot like you usually do, because, he smirked at me, brooding is something only I can make look good. I laughed, pushing his head to the side, both of us laughing a little. Yeah, so Sasuke is a little beepy. Annoying as it is, I rather prefer a fun and beepy Sasuke to a dark and creepy Sasuke any day. I looked out into the window again to stare determinedly into the sky. Yeah. I mumbled. I leaned on the sill on my forearms with him and we bumped each other's shoulders playfully every once in a while, chuckling together. This is another line of words that are only useful for the purpose of signifying the changing of the scenes in my story. Please proceed. It was the end of the day, and this is the part of the day that I always didn't like but I always endured. There's this swing, just a little wooden seated one, just in front of the academy under the shade of an ordinary tree. There it sat, lonely and forgotten by most children, except for me. I sit there, one leg on either side of the seat, watching everyone from the comfort of the shadow. Children are pouring out from the opening of the school and into the arms of their parents. Smiling, laughing, teasing, proud parents who greet them with arms wide open. Mother who envelope them in a warm embrace. Fathers who ruffle the kids' hair and call them all kinds of nicknames and endearments with a proud fatherly light shining in their eyes. With a gently smile they ask their child how their day went. They all do this. And with an excited gleam in their eyes, the children would respond in earnest. And sometimes I would see one of the parents give the kid a shoulder ride or a piggyback ride. They were a little more excitable today as they all just graduated from the school. The fathers were extra proud, mothers extra loud, and Naruto all the more quiet as he leaned on the rope of the swing. I would watch on, feeling lonely and forgotten like my little swing. There was a time when my own father and mother loved me like that. But around the time the twins were conceived, the little affections they would give me would stop, little by little. Father would stop smiling in my company and mother wouldn't let me hold her hand, too conveniently busy with something else. Then, not too much later, my little 6-year-old self realized. They didn't love me anymore. So from then on I kept quiet in the house. I did everything I was told and did everything as perfectly as I could. I tried to be the perfect son I could be for my father. I tried to make him love me again. I even tried to be his personal butler, but he just thought I was being annoying. I worked hard at school, I trained hard every day. I trained so hard I would collapse and I could barely breathe. My muscles were sore every day and I was in the top of the class. But it still wasn't enough. I was dismissed with a busy hum. I was written off as just that kid. I finally just stopped trying. My grades dropped and I suddenly became quiet again. No one knew why. The only one I told about my home life was Sasuke. When Iruka-sensei asked if something was wrong, I told him it was nothing and ignored all further attempt at finding out what was wrong with me. My friends saved me, they do that a lot. They healed me without even knowing they did. But one can't help but look back and wish you still had what you did then. When they would give me piggybacks, when they would laugh with me, when they would smile at me and welcome me home. But it's okay, kind of. At least, it was getting okay. I still wish my family acknowledged me, but it doesn't hurt as much as it did before. Stop thinking so much. Sasuke flashed in my mind. Remembering the scene in class today made me smile. Do you want to be Hokage? Now you're one step closer. I laugh a little. How did it turn into me getting a pep talk from Sasuke? My fist clenched as I jumped up and out of the swing. I half climbed and half ran. I've been practicing, but I don't really have the control down, all the way up the tree. There, standing at the top branch, with the wind in my face as I stood facing my father's stone-cut face into the mountain and pumped my fists into the air. Watch out, old man, because I'm one step closer. I yelled at the top of my lungs, smiling wide. Yada. I'll be Hokage soon. Believe it. I woke up to the light in my eyes. That, and along with my mother's tapping on the door excitedly, could wake anyone up. How annoying. But I'll pretend to be happy for her. I glance over at my twin and we both roll our eyes. Mother is always like this at this time of the year. You ready, brother? I ask him. When he nods, I take a deep breath and laugh really loudly, saying, "Come in, mommy." The door bursts open way before the time it takes to say open. "Happy birthday, my beautiful babies," she squeals, her red hair flying, the same red hair that me and my brother inherited. Dad stands behind her with a wide smile, the same smile we inherited too. Naruto Nii-san inherited Dad's hair and eyes and Mom's smile. I don't get why they don't treat him the same as me and Junsei, but we just go with it. I mean, if Mom and Dad do it, shouldn't we do it too? I mean, they know best. Mom picks me up and dresses me as quick as she can in the nicest home clothes we own. The next thing I know, she puts me on her back and thrusts her arms out. Haha, I'm flying. And it really felt like it. Mama made airplane noises. We flew down the stairs and into the dining room, where we found Naruto Nii-san nursing a cereal bowl close to him on the table. This was weird for me because he never sits with us at the table in the mornings, he just stands at the counter behind the table in the kitchen with his breakfast. But this is quickly forgotten when Mom drops me on the high chair and coddles me. My mother, the smothering one, can't have enough of us. Just then Dad announces my older by 2 minutes brother in a booming voice from behind the archway into the dining room. Mom and I start drumrolling. I notice that Nii-san just kept on with his breakfast, but he's been like this for the past couple of years, so I don't take much offense. But we are the saviors of the village, like Dad says. Shouldn't he, I don't know, treat us like everyone else? I mean, it only makes sense, right? My brother and I knew what we wanted, what we always look forward to every year. Cake. Cake. We chanted, banging our fists on our little tables. We always get what we want this way. We find it works wonders. No, sons. The cake comes later at the big party we're throwing. Mom says. We stopped pounding our fists, but I was still confused as to why we couldn't have cake already. I want cake and I want it now. But we can get Naruto to make some extra waffles, right, boy? Dad said that last part a little weirdly, like he usually does towards Nii-san. Junsei and I supposed we were to do the same. Dad was just great. Nii-san just got up after consuming the rest of his cereal and made us some extra waffles. Junsei and I cheered, though I'm not sure Nii-san took notice. Junsei started eating and I followed suit and started to devour my own stack of waffles. Extra honey, When are we gonna have the party? Junsei asks, though the words sounded garbled with the food in his mouth. Yeah, are we having a big crowd again? Or a small one like 2 years ago, with a big family picture at the start and end? Or a big event, with a bunch of our friends from school? Like last time? We talk like this sometimes because people thought we were cute like that. The cuter we were, the more stuff they gave and the more trouble we can get up to and get away with. Really though, we learned from watching Nii-san, but he hasn't done the cute thing in a while, probably because he wasn't as cute as us anymore. What other reason could there be? Yes, we're inviting all of our friends in the different clans in Konoha. Mom smiles at us before drinking her water. None of us noticed when the front door had shut close, signaling that Nii-san had left without saying goodbye again. I make my way down the streets of Konoha. My arms are raised and hands clasped at the back of my head. The sun is shining and my smile can't get any wider than it is now, to be honest. Do you know what today calls for? Ramen. And where can I find the best ramen in town? I hope that it was obvious, because really, where else would I go? Shame on you if you thought I would go anywhere else. I quickly head toward Sasuke's place first. The guy was probably alone in his little apartment with nothing else to do but munch on a piece of rice and brood. I'd be doing him a favor. Human interaction may not be at the top of his list of things to cure his emo-ness, but it's necessary if you were to be my brother from another mother. Dear Lord. Did I really just say that? Yo Sasuke. I know you're in there. I yell at the top of my lungs. People gave me weird looks, but they were used to it by now. What is it, Yusura Tonkachi? That bastard yells back at me. Come on, let's go to Ichiraku's to celebrate our graduation. As if, you lunatic. We go there every other day to celebrate breathing. Whatever you all think, in my opinion breathing is a very good thing to celebrate. So? He quickly jumps down. It's pointless to argue with your unhealthy obsession. Yup. But I'm pretty sure you just want to come because you're lonely and Ichiraku's ramen is irresistible. I grin while I drop my arm around the back of his shoulder. He tries to shake me off, but I'm already dragging him to the best shop in the village. Really though, it was pointless to struggle anyway. I always got what I wanted out of this guy, one way or another. Hey old man. We want the usual. I yell as we enter the little shop. Naruto. How did it go? Ayame asked, looking at us as she dries another bowl from the sink. How do you think it went? I'm the best ninja in the world. I graduated with rainbows flying out of their noses. Ayame laughs and walks away with cheery congratulations for both of us. She was always really happy when we come around. They both were. It's always really nice here. It's more of a home to me than the house I go to for basically just sleep and a change of clothes. We knew you would. We believed in you, Naruto, and you as well, Uchiha-kun. Here you both go. You boys deserve these. It's on the house. Tucci smiles as he places our bowls of pre-made ramen in front of us. The old man already knew we were coming. I pause for a second, I think along with Sasuke, because I don't know if old man Tucci realizes that his words are pretty much the words that I've been craving to hear for what seems like the longest time. He was the family that I've always wanted. Damn, I'm so lucky to have him and his daughter here at this ramen shop. I smile wide at Sasuke before tucking into my food with a quick, "Itadakimasu." Yo. I turn around and see Iruka-sensei. Iruka-sensei. At least, I think I should still call him sensei. It would be weird if I just called him Iruka even if he wasn't my teacher anymore. What is he doing here? Sasuke grunts his greetings, his mouth still full from the first few bites of his ramen. Haha. Hello to you, to Uchiha-san. Iruka grins as he sits down on my other side. How excited are you about becoming a ninja? Iruka asked, his eyes sparkling with excitement. Now, if old man Tucci was my weird great uncle or something, then Iruka was definitely dad material. He was always super supportive and scolded me whenever I skipped class or made the wrong decisions, like pranking innocent villagers, Chunin level ninjas. He has a really warm aura around him that just gives me those warm fuzzy feelings. It's great having a guy like Iruka-sensei around. Much better than my actual old man, that's for sure. Only the most excited I've been in my entire life. Man, I can't wait until we get to go on missions and stuff together. We'll go fight some bad guys and win major battles, and beat bosses, and save princesses. Ha, ha. I could barely contain my excitement, bouncing in my own seat. Whoa, whoa, slow down there, slick. First you have to get up to my level of skill to do missions with me, got it, squirt? Iruka grinned and knuckled my head. What? I'm plenty skilled. I'm the greatest ninja ever. Yo, Baka, I'm eating your ramen if you're not going to. Teme. 0-0. A couple of hours later found Naruto, Iruka, and Sasuke all having their third or fourth bowls of ramen, though Naruto is probably at his sixth or something. said Naruto. If you're a genin now, where's your headband? Tucci leans over the counter to stare at my unoccupied forehead. Up until earlier today I've been wearing goggles on my head as a sort of warm-up forehead protector. But, now that you mention it. I glance over at Sasuke and found one official Konoha forehead protector strapped firmly around his head. Then I think back and I remember people coming back from their exams with their own headbands strapped to their selected body parts. Shikamaru's was on his arm. Kiba's was on his forehead. Choji's was on his forehead too. Hinata's was around her neck. Where's my headband? Sasuke was a little startled from my outburst this time because I pretty much slapped him by accident. What do you mean, where's my headband? You should have gotten one when they said you passed. He looked annoyed, though a bit confused too. Iruka nodded. Now that I think about it, I didn't see Naruto come up to us and grab one. I was too happy that you really did pass perfectly like you said you would to notice. He sheepishly scratched the back of his head when I glare at him. How come you didn't tell me? I was really happy too when I did everything perfectly, so I didn't really remember to get it. I cry. You should know to get your headband by yourself, brat. Iruka defends. You're the teacher, you should know. You're the genius, you should know. Hey, is there really no way for Naruto to get his headband? Does that mean he's not really a genin after all? Ayame asked, lured into the front of the shop by the sudden, more intense than usual, yelling. I blanched. I didn't even consider that possibility. It's too stupid. I passed their test. That should make me a genin, with or without the headband. When I voice my complaints, Iruka nodded. Even if they do say something like, you're not a genin because you don't have a headband, I can be there to get you your headband back. I sigh with relief. Gee, thanks Iruka-sensei. Iruka laughs and says no problem. Naruto then leaves the ramen shop after paying for his meal. As I slurp the last strings of noodles in my bowl, one hear an absurd chuckle coming from my left. It was Sasuke. Hey, Dobi, did you know that there was a kid who really did pass the test but he forgot to grab his headband before leaving? When he talked to some of the teachers at the exam, they said he wasn't a genin and that he could never be a ninja anymore. What? Wait. What? Why? Sasuke shrugs, taking a sip of his broth before answering. Apparently, part of the final test was to remember to grab the headband. It's symbolic, ensures them that the ninja doesn't forget his duty or something. Oh my god. A teacher tried helping him out but he couldn't because it was the rules. Breaking the rules means you're trash, so the kid never became a genin and remained a civilian for the rest of his life, buried in shame. Oh no no, 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 no. I yell, practically ripping my hair out of my head. What am I going to do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I run back and forth, out of my seat in a heartbeat. Hey, Naruto, I turn around and see Shikamaru poking his head inside the shop. His family is standing behind him. Shikamaru, what are you doing here? Shikamaru looked slightly taken aback. I should be asking you that. Do you know what time it is? I look at the clock, it's 6:53. 6:53, what am I supposed to be doing right now? Isn't it your brother's birthdays today? Sasuke piped up, looking at me from the corners of his eyes. My own eyes widen as I check the time again. Double checking, triple checking. Shoot. The birthday started an hour ago. I'm not supposed to be late today. Kuso. Shikamaru leaves with a roll of his eyes and Sasuke sighs. I quickly grab Sasuke's arm to make him run with me. See you, old man. The food's on the house, right? I yell over my shoulder. I could barely hear the old man's goodbye because I was already running pretty fast. My mother is going to kill me. 0-0. We left Shikamaru's family behind. I couldn't afford to be later than I already am by walking as slowly as they were. The Hellions, I mean, my brothers were going to play around with me this time or something. They just didn't want me late to their party. So my mother and father told me numerous times to not be late to this party. I've usually arrived an hour or two late in the past years, mostly because I hated the party. Cheerful, elegant music could be heard from halfway down the street and I can see some bright lights up ahead. Our house is big and has a large front yard. The backyard was even large enough for our own little training space, not that I ever used it. I preferred being away from my family when I trained. Actually, I prefer being away from my family on a daily basis. Come on, Sasuke. I pick up the pace a little and Sasuke runs along. Boosting my jump with my chakra. I go over our fence and staircase and practically rip the front door open. Turning back around, I wave my hands at Sasuke. Go and try to blend in like you've been here the entire time. If anyone asks, we've been here, just hanging around in my room or something. I yell. Just when I thought I was home free, ready to quickly change into more dressed up attire, I crash right into my mother. Shoot. Naruto, she growls softly. Her eyes pierce right through me and I can't help but feel a wave of pain come blooming out of stomach and up my chest from out of nowhere. The scorn in her eyes were apparent. Lost track of time. Nice try. Go upstairs and change, you look unsightly. She moves on without another word, probably off to be a nice good host. I turn around and see a still shocked looking Sasuke. Yeah, she's like that, I mumble. Naruto, Sasuke trails off, not knowing what to say. He's never really seen the hate in action much, just a few times. Mostly because I rarely let any of my friends come over to my house, it's too, well. See you in the party. I don't look him in the eye as I close the front door quietly before he can say anything else. I hate this, I think. I wish I could skip it. Usually I do skip it and let my parents tell the guests some excuse. If there are any guests that wonder about my absence, it's nice to know that some people I don't care about actually do care. But since I graduated from the academy today, I'm expected to be there because it's a special day for all three of us. Pigs fly too. I look out the window and see the last rays of sunshine vanishing. I take a deep breath. Come on Naruto, you got this. Just be there and hang on tonight. Then tomorrow they can ignore you like always. It'll be back to normal in a few hours. The only thing I could look forward to was the fact that my friends would be there. Sasuke would have been invited for my sake, seeing as we both graduated with high marks. The only problem is, now, with everyone there my parents have to really act like they care. And it's all a lie and it kinda sucks. Truthfully, I've secretly been wishing they loved me again, and this act that they'll put on will just up my hopes so stupidly high. And I know that when I look into their eyes all I'll see is the truth that lies behind their words and actions. The only thing I could probably look forward to is the fact that most of my friends are probably going to be here. The usual crowd was here, most are friends of the family. Representatives of different clans and representatives of some council members or whatever from where Minato works as the Hokage were here. I've never spent the time to get to know them since, actually I don't have any excuses, I just don't want to. Guests were milling about inside and out of the manor. I'm welcomed warmly, hard not to be noticed with how I'm much less formal than everyone else in the room. I stick out like a bright orange thumb. Spitting out whatever nice and polite things I could think of, I'm about to head up to my room when I see a few delicious looking snacks on the coffee table. Say what you want, but a growing boy needs to eat. Me equals growing boy. Food equals delicious. I pig out a little on a handful of some sort of chocolate white treats. I felt someone come up behind me. Namikaze-kun, so you have arrived. An old lady from some high and mighty important place from my dad's workplace greets me oh so nicely. She mutters her real greeting under her breath. And already invading the treats, I see, that was left out for everyone to enjoy, but I guess that must have escaped the notice of the dried out sponge between your ears. She, unlike some other guests, or most of the village to be honest, doesn't treat me any differently than the way she treats other people. She openly shows her disdain for all living creatures under the sun, and she is probably one of my most favorite people in all of Konoha. Yes, old lady councilwoman, here I am. Pardon my tardiness. You see, I was out celebrating. It was my last day in the academy, you see, and I graduated with one of the top marks in class. I acted politely and tried to smile, but the frown working hard to reach my face made my efforts quite useless. And of course, adding to the fact that I really don't enjoy being in your presence for longer than necessary, old bat. I mutter quietly, I knew she could hear me. The old woman, whose name is Yukiji Tanaka, and I have a weird acquaintanceship, as you can see. She's my break from the fake. She hates people in general and she had no problem showing it. She's a bitter, small, and feisty old grandma. I've seen her kids and grandkids and don't know how they can be so happy when it seems like this 200-year-old lady just seems determined to outlive us all and dance our graves. Hurry up and get changed, you look more unsightly than usual. All that dirt and sweat, and by the stench it seems you've been eating rather unhealthily at that rundown shop again. Yukiji Baba grumbled as she waved her hand in a shoo-shoo motion toward the main stairs. Ichiraku's is not. Don't get so close, I can smell your breath. She turned her nose away in the most haughty way imaginable. Oh, You can smell stuff on that ancient thing. Oh. Look. I see your mother coming this way. You may want to get going now before you offend me even more. Her voice was steadily growing louder. I didn't dare look behind me. Cool it, Lady Sunshine, whatever you say. I bowed deeply with mocking sweeping gestures as I backed up and out of the room. I smirked at her infuriated look, which wasn't all that obvious, but I've learned to read people's eyes for the truth a long time ago, at the stupid nickname I gave her. I stuck my tongue out at her for good measure. My door creaks in greeting to me as I enter my room. I'm not very fashion forward. What gave me away? The jumpsuits that don't run out or the goggles that go on my forehead until I get an actual headband. So I just pick something at random from the fancy end of my closet. My mother only stocks up on them for me because I can't show up to events in my usual choice of clothing, ugly rags. 30 minutes in and I'm not breaking out into hives or something, so that's something positive to look at here. Achievement. I haven't had any time at all to speak to my friends tonight. For what seems like eternity I've had to act like the best big brother, which includes having to play around with them. The spoiled little brats haven't given me one break from the crazy. I don't know how to play with them because I don't play with them. I haven't spent more than a couple of hours at most with them in day, maybe not even 2 hours. How should I know what makes them happy? I don't even know if they consider me their older brother. For all I know, they just think that I'm some servant that looks kinda like their papa. I don't even know I consider them family. I mean, you can't blame me. They stole my parents away from me. And don't call me childish, you don't even know the half of it. Namikaze, your children have grown so big. I couldn't help but pick up the conversation between the old man and his former teammate. I never caught his name. Yes, they certainly have. You must be very proud of them, Hokage-sama, the teammate's wife said. My old man smiled, I saw, and looked over at me and my brothers, who were rough-housing with some of their friends. I tried to pretend I was part of it. Yes, I'm quite proud of them. I paused. Even though I know he's only referring to my brothers in that sentence, I couldn't help but pretend that he was also proud of me. Gah, that's too sappy. I'm going to find Sasuke. Hey, don't kill each other while I'm gone, I told my brothers. They looked up. Hey, wait. Junsei called. Stop, don't go, Shinzo ordered. Really, and why? I beeped my head to the side, a small frown on my face. They both simultaneously blushed as bright as their hair. I frown and feel unsettled. This could either be really good or really bad. Naru ni, they both suddenly pulled and tugged at my arm, running in some direction. I resisted the urge to shove them away or throw them halfway across Konoha. We stopped as suddenly as we started. Okay, what is up, Whiskers? I growled, standing up straight and glared right into their eyes. Our eyes were the only things that looked the same, in my opinion. They were pretty annoying and they have ridiculously high-pitched voices. Look at that pretty girl over there. Junsei pointed somewhere behind me. Introduce us to her. Dear goodness, the poor girl. She's probably from their class or something. Yeah, introduce her to me. I want her to be my girlfriend, Shinzo crowed. Hey, she'll be my girlfriend. Junsei pouted. No, she'll be my girlfriend, Shinzo argued. I sighed. Why don't you let the girl decide? I suggested, but I was quickly ignored. That's cute. My sarcasm never made it out of my mouth. Like either of you will ever get a girlfriend that'll actually like you, you're both so annoying. Who is she anyway? I asked them, genuinely concerned for the poor girl. They looked at me and turned me around. Duh. The prettiest girl here is gonna be my girlfriend, they both said, and promptly glared at each other and started a no-me argument. But I didn't hear any of that because the girl they pointed to was none other than Hinata Hyuga. Without hesitation, and thinking, I called out to her. Hey, Hinata. Spinning around, her princess-style hair fluttered about her round cheeks. I waved enthusiastically at her and hesitantly she walked towards me. My smile falters a little along with my skipped a beat hard as I met her in the middle. She looked beautiful in a plain white kimono. Hey, how are you? Her cheeks flushed and her eyes averted. With twiddling fingers she answered something with a tone that was just a little too soft for my ears. Eh? I asked, leaning closer to hear her better. Her cheeks grew a deeper shade of red. I'm okay. How are you, Naruto-kun? She asked, smiling shyly. I've been tortured by little kids and I haven't had a break in forever. I couldn't help making my voice go a little whiny. My whole body slumped tiredly, My face must have been funny because she giggled a little bit. I smiled brightly at her giggle, it was really cute. Ni-chan. Junsei tugged at my robes. Naru ni. Shinzo did the same at my other side. I looked down and found them both giving me intense glares. They pulled me down to their eye level, shockingly painful, and hissed stop flirting and introduce me venomously. Then they growled at each other in sibling rivalry. I looked up at Hinata and smiled nervously, which made her giggle a little. My sleeves were tugged painfully and suddenly once more, which pulled me down further. I rolled my eyes. All right, calm your boxers, whiskers. I snarled. Straightening out, I look at Hinata. Just bear with me. I whispered to her. She looked confused but gently nodded. I gestured regally at my brothers, making grandeur gestures. Hinata Hyuga, please meet Junsei and Shinzo. I pointed at each brother. They like long walks to the fridge, airplane shoulder rides, and late-night pee breaks. I tried to make my best game show host impression, raising my eyes brow and smiling with exaggerated charm. Hinata. Good-natured as hell, she actually laughs a little and tries to look very impressed. Though I can see in her eyes that she doesn't actually get what the kids want me to do. Junsei and Shinzo are wondering who you would like to go on a Naruto gulp date with. Gah. I really don't like asking Hinata out for other people. I'd much rather like to do that for me's. What? Oh, Hinata mumbled, quiet and sweet. Her eyes glittered with amusement, clear as crystal, and I struggled not to drown in them. That's quite impressive. She looked like she really tried to not stammer this time. She gave the two kids a look of appraisement and they blushed bright red again under her gaze. I understand completely. So, Hinata-senpai, Jun seemed unsure of what to say. This I can relate to with him. Hinata doesn't know it, but lately it's been harder to form coherent thought around her, especially when she looks so dressed up tonight underneath the glow of the lanterns. Oh my gosh, stop sounding stupid and describing everything absolutely wonderful about her, shoot. I slapped my forehead. Naruto-kun, are you okay? My eyes widened and I whipped my head up to look at Hinata and I blushed. Yeah, I'm, fine Hinata, no need to worry, I chuckled nervously. Shinzo swiped his arm across my hips and pushed me back a little bit, stepping forward into Hinata's space. Hyuga-san. I'm sorry for both of my brothers. They don't have as much class as you or me. He took her hand and smiled. She smiled a little and made a little aha noise that sounded like she was confused as to how he was acting. A tick mark appeared on the corner of my forehead. Okay, first of all, Shins, it's you or I, and second of all. Who said you had any class? Junsei growled, taking Hinata's other hand while pulling a face. Though I had mixed feelings about these two, Junsei and I were actually on the same page kind of. Shinzo stuck his tongue out and tugged on Hinata's sleeve. She looked lost, the poor girl. Junsei retaliated and tugged on Hinata's other side. She's gonna be my girlfriend. Yeah. Poor Hinata was in the tug of war, as the rope. Shinzo pulled harder on Hinata's hand, making her stumble to her left. Yeaahuuhh. Junsei pulled just as hard on the hand in his grip and Hinata's stumbled to her right, about to lose her footing on those sandals. Yeah. Hinata's face was turning red and I just had about enough of it. People were staring too. Okay. Break it up now, break it up. I growled and took Hinata's shoulders and pulled her to me, effectively ripping her away from the two little grab-happy twerps. Doesn't Hinata get a say on who she wants to be with? I practically shouted. Then I turned to the girl herself who's, unluckily, caught the attention and affection of all three Namikaze-sons. Are your wrists okay? I grabbed her hands and inspected them, pulling her closer without meaning to. Naruto-kun, they seem fine, you're not bleeding but they're turning red. I looked up and realized her face was turning red too. Oi, are you okay? Did the tug too much? I put my hand on her cheek, worried. Then suddenly her eyes rolled up into her head. Naruto-kun, and she fell limp away from me. Whoa. I scrambled to catch her and luckily I did before she hit the ground. Holding her against me I am completely confused. What? I asked no one in particular. Hinata. Ni-chan. I looked over at the brats, the lights illuminating their bright tomato red hair. They looked even angrier with that lighting. Look at what you did. Thanks.